What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. I've warned in my previous market watches that the off-season is over earlier than ever. I've been screaming it like the sky is falling, and for good reason. Whenever this happens, there's a clamor for the meta cards. It seems like they're nice and safe and tucked away. The prices have been falling, and all of a sudden, out of the gates, people are wanting to play in regionals. They want to solidify perhaps their WCQ decks, and this is a pretty educated one, going for the Dangers. Dangers are unlikely to get hit on the next Forbidden and Limited list. Perhaps the decks they currently support might, but Dangers overall are an amazing extension engine, and boy, did they go hard into them. I'm really surprised though, and I think this price can't hold. We just had the Barnes & Noble 50% off sale, followed by the GameStop 50% off sale, where they were trying to get those Sutff packs out, and there's going to be a ton of jackalopes floating around, I feel like. Yet, they tried to get it at the $30 mark at first, and then 23 already with 6 copies, so I think we'll see competitors undercut each other very fast on this card. It's no Spiral Double Helix in Tier 0, where that's like 30, 35, so I don't think this can personally hold myself, but I do see where they were coming from. I don't know that Dangers will be in Battles of Legend this year. They're probably not in Dual Power, so they might be what sells the Megatons, but we've also seen them stray away from TCG exclusives in the Megatons. Overall, it's interesting they've gone for the rank 3 potential is here. Should we get Cherubini? Like, it's not bad overall, but we do see Dangerous Neck untouched here, the newer card, at 32. I guess it's just easier to buy out Jackalope, and that's what people went for. But again, the quantities are higher out there as an ultra rare. It should flood back just a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But Nessie is what I've been predicting would go up, is now $38. It's starting to rise too, very quickly. So Danger everywhere, starting to get bought out for the engines. This is interesting to me, and I'm waiting to see where it goes. Let's actually look up Chupacabra. Do we got Danger Chupacabra? Let's see. Let's see if you've had any movement here. Nope, cheap as ever, and I think it does see some play in several of the builds, so interesting to see. Jackalope and Nessie, definitely 2 of the best out here. Very high. I'd get Chupacabra if you're considering him at all in your engines. I personally have been testing it in Danger Dino Thunder, but realistically, I would be playing Dino Thunder if I was to play at a YCS. It's more of a fun feeling being able to extend with Dangers for me. Also, Boral Sword Dragon is floating back up. We were seeing that decline. We were seeing it start to cool off a little. We were seeing that natural competition bring its price back down, yet now it's floating back towards that $90 price very, very freaking quickly. The off-season's over. Sutff just got slammed with buyouts. I don't think it was the 5% TCG player kickback that really did this, because we're seeing it on both platforms for the cards that are getting bought out. We're seeing kind of this unanimous, both places are getting it. So what do you guys think of this kind of Danger grab right here? I think the decks might get hit that they currently support, but I also think they're very good, and they honestly limit, like, the card pool moving forward for card creation. Like, they are so freaking good, in my opinion. Pro Play Games is having an event here. I believe it is going to be, yes, Atlantic City for the first one, January 19th through 20th. Cash prizes. So if you're into Dragon Ball Super, if you're into Yu-Gi-Oh, huge cash prizes from them. It's awesome to see them actually give straight up cash to players. So I'm looking forward to how this will be going. They're going to live stream it. This is their very first one on their tour. Even Vanguard, if you're into that sort of thing. So I'm really looking forward to see how it all goes. They have a 1K on Sunday for those who don't make top cut. Really great top cut prizes. A lot of cash being thrown at Yu-Gi-Oh! They've kind of stepped away from the scene for Dragon Ball Super, but seem to be coming back to look at all the scenes and create something similar to ARG. ARG's events are still really good also. So it's nice to see this kind of outward support for players that want to play for something besides rubber playmats and electronics. It's nice to see cash, and so I'm fully in support of this. I hope that it goes really well, and for those in the area, you have something to go to, and for those not in the area, you have something to watch. Legendary Duelist, Sister of the Rose booster boxes are starting out near $45. And somebody in my stream told me they got them for $45, and I was like, that's a really good deal. Not really thinking that, well, it is a booster pack. Now, I think this might be a really good long-term sealed investment. We've seen the Legendary Duelist sets have not had reprints from them since the very first one. It's really kind of like this immunity thing so far, and while they're typically more casual cards, I think having a Whammon on the booster box, but a recognizable one like My Valentine, the actual train stuff, and the Akiza cards, this is one I might keep sealed for a year just to see how it does. Now, in comparison, we go back to past Duelist packs with recognizable characters, but this is Yugi and Kaiba. It's Battle City, the best arc. But still, this is very interesting. Cyber Knight be opening expensive packs, doesn't he? Battle City is really, really freaking expensive for sealed. But we look at a newer one, Legendary Duelist White Dragon Abyss, that does have decent cash cards to be able to be pulled. Not as good as, say, the Pegasus box, but it's still interesting to see that a Kaiba cover and Blue Eye support hasn't jumped sealed at all for this yet. So the demand is in question. Will this be in demand later enough like the Millennium one, the Pegasus covered Legendary Duelist, or will it fall flatter like the Kaiba one? I personally think this is a good one to get and keep for a cheap price like this, and that temptation to rip open booster packs. I love that feeling, but definitely people have been asking me about sealed on this, and my conclusion is I think I would take a dive on a case and just kind of lay in wait for a year on this particular one. Although, you know, if a Kaiba one's not selling, it is still always a risk. We've also got, advent calendars at $10 whole. So if you're a Barnes & Noble member, you get an additional 10% off, but then there's tax. So still about $10. There's a few interesting cards in the advent calendar, like Ghost Reaper, and somebody was like, should I get these cheap if I want Ghost Reaper? My answer is sure, yes. You have enough cards back that's fine, or you could just buy the singles if you don't really care about anything else. But cards like Heartland Draco have the potential to go up over time. Hey Trunade will definitely see some metas, but it already has so many reprints. It was obviously going to go on clearance at some point, right? And it's going on clearance pretty much everywhere. So maybe you could wait even further or not. We went around to our Barnes & Nobles and they had tons of these. And I thought about like buying a couple for a skit where we bash them over each other's heads and that kind of stuff. But even then I held off at the 10. But if you need Ghost Reapers, that's hot from me. But you might see them go even further on clearance later. I've been avoiding this card on Market Watch, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. Why have I been avoiding it? I wanted to see the fallout, and I thought it would go back down much quicker, but it hasn't. And the off-season's over, as I've been screaming and telling myself too. So, Rongo Bongo decks, do you only have a month to play? Will they be hitting you? I really don't know, but you do see it a little cheaper on eBay available, but barely, just 10% cheaper. So if your faith is in Bongo, you need this card, and people will last minute be trying to get it, like probably offering 25s, trying to get it, and then have to give up and get it for the YCS in Chicago, events for regionals. I hate to say it, but it could actually, if it doesn't get hit on the FNL list, the Bongo stuff, it could go up, unfortunately. I don't think this is it if it avoids a ban list. I think this is actually a little bit of caution added to that mix, rather than just low quantities, because again, that sale, GameStop and also Barnes & Noble 50% off had these in it too. I saw people pulling these, so really just an odd situation to where I don't know what will happen in the future, but there's always ban list speculation. Speaking of that, Gumblar is also still hanging around 9. I really thought it would be like maybe at 12 at this point after avoiding the last list, but it seems to be cooling down a little, and on eBay you do see cheaper foreign copies that would take longer to get to you. My opinion is, I really hope they do, but you never know. You never know what Konami has in mind for a WCQ season. We look at the ban cards so far, and they're enablers. rather than in pieces for links. So Gumbler would be, if it gets banned, would be the first one that's not Goblin, an enabler. Firewall, an enabler. It would be an end point. It would be interesting to see if they try to cripple it being brought out or just hit it itself. And on a final note here, I still think this is a great investment as a single. The Phantom Knight of good old Rusty here is still under $3, but is climbing towards $3 solid and has that market price of $3 also. It's stuck in a $30 set, but a lot of you guys did get those 50% off on sale also. So there's so many other good singles in this, but it still doesn't equal up to that 30 MSRP. There's tons of ways to get it for 15 to 20 for the product, as you see, market price 20. I still think this is a good single because Cherubini hasn't been released, and a lot of people are going to need to pick this up in the future too if they haven't already prepared. So that's just food for thought. If you don't have yours, do not hold off, in my opinion. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I truly thank you guys for an amazing 2018, and I've finally got some stuff in the P.O. box, so we're going to open that up here in one of our live streams, or around when Emily's actually there. That might have to be recorded, but we will be putting that up on the channel at some point too. I'll probably mix it in at the end of one of these market watches to give the most kind of eyes on it. I want to give back to those guys who give to me. So again, thank you so much for watching.